Help support the show by joining the Patreon or becoming a YouTube member. Also, hit that like button and subscribe if you want more Browns-focused content. Has free agency changed the Cleveland Browns' plans when it comes to the mock draft, or will this change how a mock draft will end up because of what the Browns have been doing in free agency? Well, let's jump to it and let's look at it, see what changes, what doesn't. We're going to do our first post-free agency mock draft here. The same rules as always. We're using the Pro Football Focus mock draft. We're going to use the Cleveland Browns, 7 rounds, and we're going to slow this just a bit below fast so we can, keep an eye out for trades. And we're going to use the public board versus the Pro Football Focus board. Let's jump into it. All right, so we got the second pick of the draft, and we're going to start this. So Cam Ward goes number 1 overall. If this is the case, I think this is a very simple thing for the Browns to do, which is take Abdul Carter. There's a bit of a conversation between Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter. I personally prefer Abdul Carter. I'm not opposed to Travis Hunter either. I think both of these options are quite fine for the Cleveland Browns. The question comes down to this. How much do you value Travis Hunter's versatility? For me, I see Travis Hunter as a specialty wide receiver and a full-time corner on my football team if I were drafted, right? So my value would not be higher on him than Abdul. But if you do think, if you're Andrew Berry, and look, I think I always make sure that I understand the limitations of my own preferences here in the draft, and not try to assume that my preferences are everybody else's. So if you're Andrew Berry and you look at Travis Hunter and you see a wide receiver who has ball skills and can remind you of Jerry Jeudy, and a corner who has ball skills and will be excellent for you, basically what I'm saying is if you see in Travis Hunter a player who could be effective for you on both sides of the ball on third down, then I understand the ultimate appeal of going after Travis Hunter, if that is the vision, right? If it's anything less than that, I prefer Abdul, because the straight-up vision for Abdul's edge, I think, is a little bit stronger than the straight-up vision for Travis. But if you're willing to use your imagination and you view Travis as somebody who is going to be effective on offense at third down and on defense at third down, then taking him at number 2, you have to strongly consider, because that is a two-way impact player. That is a double player. That is a player who will always be underpaid, because even if you pay him $35, $40 million, he's a two-way impact guy, so it's like you're paying him half of whatever you're paying him, right? Because he's 2-1. I can see the value in Travis Hunter. You address offense, you address defense. One pick, one top pick. Outside of landing a quarterback, that is probably, Travis Hunter has the potential to give you the highest value on your pick, the highest return on your pick. Abdul Carter is the best combination, in my opinion, of probability to hit that ceiling and the ceiling being high enough to justify the number 2 overall pick. I think Abdul could be very similar to Micah Parsons, be very similar to Von Miller. Travis Hunter could be something we've never seen before. I'm not a very creative person. I tend to go for Abdul. But if you want to go Travis Hunter here, can't really blame you. I think both options are very intriguing. And if we get to this spot in the draft where Cam Ward goes number 1 overall, then this is the best case scenario for you Browns fans. It might not seem like it to some of you who want a quarterback, but having Travis and Abdul available, picking between one of those 2 players, that is the best case scenario. And if I'm picking between those 2 players, I really don't care about a trade, because I don't think the market's going to be there. But also, I don't think the value you're going to get from a trade back is going to be worth not having one of these 2 guys on your team. I'm going to go Abdul here. You can go Travis Hunter. Both are more than excellent options. So, we can debate it, but I'm going to tell you right now, I ain't really going to crash out over this debate, because I'm fine with either choice. Extremely fine with either choice. Abdul Carter here. All right, now we're going to watch the board, right? Because what we want to watch for is where does Shedeur fall? Because look at this. In this mock draft scenario, Abdul goes, Travis goes after him, Genty goes after that, Membu goes 5th. What a jump for him. Will Campbell goes 6th. Okay, so if the Jets don't take him, we're talking about a slide that's potentially going to go all the way to Pittsburgh at 20. So let's see what happens here. All right, they went Shamar Stewart. Now it's time to see what the price would be, because I think if you want to take a quarterback in this year's draft and your choices are Jalen Milroe, Will Howard, or trading up back into the first for Shedeur Sanders, I think trading up back into the first for Shedeur Sanders is much more preferable than those other two options. So I'm going to test the market here. I'm going to see if Tampa Bay is willing to trade their 19th pick, go back to 33, and what that would cost. Because if they're willing to play ball, then I might make that move. Now, I don't want to give up too much here, right? I'd be willing to give up 103. I don't think they're going for it. Would they want a third? They want way too much here. So we're going to have to hope he slides past Pittsburgh because the price for 19 is too high. Yeah, I'm not going any further than where I am, which means let's see if he gets past Pittsburgh. If he does, we'll call LA at 26, right? I think 26 is a place you can go to here. All right, he went past Pittsburgh. Now we're really going to start blowing these phones up because the chance to get him is real. So 26 to 33, what if they want to move up? Okay, they'll take 103. So we got a deal in place tentatively with Los Angeles at 26. I'm expecting Shedeur to make it to 26 here, right? You're talking about Green Bay, not Milwaukee, Minnesota, and the Tennessee Titans. So if Shedeur gets to 26 here, I'm going to jump up there, spend that 4th on it. Yeah, spend the 4th. Maybe I can give him some 6s here too. They just give up like a bunch of back-end picks. But that's looking like the move here. If Shedeur makes it to 26, we're going to jump in here. We're going to make that trade. We're going to get Shedeur Sanders late in this draft because I would say that would be my most preferable spot to get a quarterback, right? My whole problem with Shedeur Sanders in this process hasn't been who he is as a prospect. I like Shedeur as a prospect. I've had Shedeur as my number 1 quarterback in this draft class. I prefer him to Cam Ward, at least for the Brown system. My problem with Shedeur is that number 2 is just way too high of a price to pay for Shedeur Sanders. Now, if we're talking about a trade up from 33, sending a 4th, maybe a combination of late round picks to go get him, I have no problem with that. I'll give up a pick next year for that, right? So I have absolutely no problem with that kind of move if we're talking about that being the price for Shedeur Sanders. My issue with Shedeur is that I just think his ceiling is low as a quarterback. I think he's somebody who makes more sense late first round, early second, because I don't think he himself is going to be a person who elevates the team around him to a point to where you're going to be a championship contender just because you got that dude, and that's what you need at the number 2 overall pick. But I do think that he could become a starter for you, which would be preferable for the Cleveland Browns, especially when we're staring down the barrel of Kenny Pickett. So, or maybe like Kirk Cousins, right? So pick 23. We're going to wait to see what happens here. But if Shedeur's there at 26, I called LA. We're going to work out a deal. We're going to make that pick there. We're going to take Shedeur. All right, we're at 25 as long as – all right. So LA, they want to make the move. Let's call them. Right here, 33. Let's force this one through. That jumps us to 26 here. And we're going to take with the 26th pick of the draft, Shedeur Sanders. Get that 5th-year option. Get our quarterback. Now, on the bright side, quarterbacks answered. Abdul Carter's on the team. For me, This is a fine scenario. I am absolutely fine with doing this. Again, my objection with Shedeur Sanders was more about taking him at 2 than taking him entirely. There are things I like about Shedeur Sanders as a prospect. I do not care too much about the whole Sanders family thing. Like that to me, I think people are not overreacting, but just kind of caught up in the cycle with that, where a lot of the stuff you get caught up with them is internet stuff. It's not real stuff that I think impacts the football team. So I don't really care much about any of that. You get Shedeur Sanders, you get Abdul Carter. I think that's a successful first round. Now we're going to wait this out till round 3 because we did sacrifice a second round pick to get our quarterback. But we got our quarterback, we got a future edge rusher. Offensive coordinator's happy, defensive coordinator's happy. I feel like that's a pretty successful day 1 in the draft. Okay, but since we did go quarterback round 2, we only have but so many picks to figure out the rest of our roster. Now, running back, I think, is the next area where you need to be super secure. Now, in free agency, we did some stuff on the offensive line to make us a little bit more secure. Just reworked Jack Conklin's deal to make him cheaper. You're going to get DeJuan Jones back. So you feel really good about your ability to improve the offensive line. You have guys like Marcus Mbo here, who would be a guard prospect, maybe Cam Williams here. Ozzie Trapulo is also interesting. So those are the tackles that are available to you. Anthony Belton's there as well. Running back wise, we have Dylan Sampson, RJ Harvey, DJ Gittins, Devin Neal, Jadon Blue, Damian Martinez, Trevor Etienne. I'm hoping, maybe this is just me just hoping that the Browns bring back Nick Chubb. So I'm not going to be super rushed for a running back, but maybe that's falsely founded hope. Wide receiver here, not looking great, right? You're probably going to have to address that next year in the draft. And again, it might make sense, right? This is why it might make sense instead of going Abdul to go Travis Hunter, as much as I prefer Abdul to Travis, right? If you have a vision for Travis Hunter as both a wide receiver and a corner, well, then you help the defense out and you help the offense out. You give Shedeur a wide receiver he already has familiarity with. I can see that being very attractive, especially if the Browns are a team that has Shedeur as quarterback 1 on their board. We don't know who the Browns have as quarterback 1 on their board, right? There's a lot saying that they don't like Shedeur. There's a lot saying that they do. Maybe it might be a situation like me where they like Shedeur, they just don't like him at number 2, right? Which doesn't mean that they're off the ideal of taking him entirely, but it just needs to be a better value proposition. That being said, let's work on this 3rd round pick here. So there were some offensive tackles I found intriguing. Mason Taylor is here at 67. That's very intriguing to me. I think Mason Taylor will be a pretty solid tight end in the pros. He had a really good combine, 6'5", 255, true junior, right? So super young. He's not as productive as some of these guys who are older than him in this draft class. But again, he's only 21, right? Tyler Warren, I think, is like 23. And when Tyler Warren was 21, he wasn't as productive as Mason Taylor was. So something to consider there. Mason Taylor, I think that's probably going to be the number 1 option for me right now as I go through the board. Running back, I think I'm going to wait till round 4 to select a running back. Offensive tackle, Essery is there, which is super intriguing. Super intriguing. A potential tackle. Big guy here, right? 6'6", 330, red shirt senior, so a little bit older. He has the size and length to play in the NFL. Thought he moved really well at the combine. So Essery, Mason Taylor, I think are the 2 leaders in the house for me. Tate Rutledge is there, who I find interesting, but we have a logjam at guard. Maybe you could use him as a center. I don't know how the Browns feel about that. They didn't really attack center too strong, so it makes me feel like they are fine with what they have at center. We also need a new free safety. Kevin Winston is here. Lathan Ransom, Makuba. I think this is a conversation for 93, though. Let's look at the defensive interior. Omar Norman Lott, Jordan Phillips, Deontay Walker, CJ West. It's going to get crowded in the 4th round here for defensive interior guys. Edge defenders, I'm not really too interested in. Linebackers, and I'm waiting on linebacker as well. So it's Essery or it's Mason Taylor. Mason Taylor has more potential to help you today than Essery does because I'm not sure Essery plays until Jack Conklin is done, right? So this is another one that can go either way. Mason Taylor would make a ton of sense. Some people would say Cam Williams would make a ton of sense. I think Cam's a bit more of a project than Essery is. Given that the Browns aren't looking for a starting tackle right now, I think Essery would make less sense to them. And it would be Cam that they would be thinking about here. If it's Cam if it's Cam Williams, my bad, versus Mason Taylor, I'm going Mason Taylor, right? If the Browns did not make any moves at tackle, if they didn't sign a veteran swing guy, I would be more inclined to go Essery here. But now that we have decent enough tackle depth, I can go Mason Taylor here and get me a project later in this draft, right? If I want to get a project, I can go beat Belton. I can go, see what's up with Jalen Rivers or somebody along those lines, Carson Vincent. I can give me a project down there. So I'm going to give me a tight end. We're going to go Mason Taylor here. All right, I think it's time to attack safety. Lathan Ransom is right there. Makuba is there as well. Now, Makuba measured in a lot taller than I thought he'd be. Ransom is 6'10", 6'1", 6'10", goodness, 6'1". Makuba's 6 foot. I thought Makuba was going to come in like 5'8", because people are telling me he's small. He's not very small at all. What's the age difference? Ransom is 23. Makuba's younger. I think that might break the tie for me. Yeah, Makuba's younger. Played less football. Coverage grade, run defense grade. Really strong tackler. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Makuba here. We're going to get a safety. We're going to go Makuba. Feel like that's the pick. And we traded 103, so running back's going to get dicey. I'm wondering, can I get back into the 4th round by shipping off some of my 6th round picks? Or maybe I can move back because Makuba might be there later. Might have to be a little bit more strategic here. Yeah, 107. I could move back. Let's see. Let's see what I can get for moving back. Ooh, 94 to 127 is just steep, and they got nothing to offer me. Yeah, they got nothing to offer me. Let me see if I can get 127 from them, though. Okay, I can work 127 from them. So I want something in between 94 and 180. I'll give you a 7th next year. I would rather have that gap. Ugh. How much do I want to give up? That's way too many picks. Let me give you. Nah, it's just not worth it. All right, let's just draft a player here. Let's get Makuba. Let's go Makuba here. I don't want to wait till 180 because I still want to take a running back, right? So I'm going to pause the draft here after taking Makuba and see if I can work my way into something here, like maybe 150. Let's look at the running backs real quick before I make this selection. So Devin Neal, Jaden Blue. Yeah, I want to at least get Trevor Etienne. I want to walk out of here with Trevor Etienne at the very least. That's about 150. So I need to get in about 140 here. Let's get Ransom. This is where Greg Newsome comes into play. So I'm going to see who are the corner needy teams in the NFL. Let's see here. Detroit already kind of took care of it. All right, so I'm going to work out this deal with the Carolina Panthers for Greg Newsome, They're gonna give me 110 outright. We're gonna swap 180 for 141, and they're gonna give me. All right, so this is the deal I worked out with the Carolina Panthers for Greg Newsome. 110 and 147 outright, and then we're gonna swap 141. We're gonna swap that for 193, and then I'll give you 201, and I'll take 232 from you. So that's a swap that we're working out. They get Greg Newsome, a former first-round pick, a potential Pro Bowl corner on the last year of his deal, and on a cheap deal too, right? $13 million, which isn't that much money for a corner. We saw the market for him, for a young team that might see Greg as part of their future. So, yeah, let's do this. Let's do this. This is a perfect way to get back into round 4. You get rid of Greg Newsome, which makes you save money on the cap. We have enough players on the roster right now to be able to replace him. So I feel fine about this move right here. Let's offer up that trade. They accepted it. Let's get back into the draft, and let's get us some running backs. Did I take Lathan Ransom by accident? That's supposed to be Makuba, but I took Ransom by accident. My bad on that one. All right, so we're at pick 110. And Trevor Etienne is there, but I can wait on that now. I wonder who's still there on the offensive tackle side. Jalen Rivers. Let's go IDL. Let's go interior defensive line. Okay, J.J. Pegues is here still. Tim Smith is here. Zeke Biggers. Isaiah Bond's here. I don't think Isaiah Bond at 110 is a bad idea. Especially, let me see the running backs. Are there any running backs I'm like, damn, I don't want to wait on? Yeah, I'm fine with waiting for Trevor Etienne. I'm confident he'll be there, or at least I'm hopeful he'll be there. Let me look at interior guys. Willie Lampkin. Yeah, we're going to go. We're going to take Bond here. Bond. Oh, Kobe Bryant's right there. Ooh. Bond or Kobe Bryant? I like Kobe as a prospect better than Bond, but Bond does play wide receiver. He's not a contested catch guy. He's not a great man guy. Let's go defense here. Let's get Kobe. Kobe, I think, can play the slot. Let's go get Kobe. All right. Hopefully Trevor's here. We're going to take Trevor here. Is CJ West gone? I'm imagining he's gone. Tim Smith is there, though. Think I'm going to go Kobe King. Somebody wants to trade. Carolina wants to trade. I'm down. What do they want to give up? Do they want to give me 180 back? Give me 180. Nah, then I'm good. I'm not trading with Baltimore. All right. So what? Cornelius makes sense here. Get you a developmental guy. How old is Cornelius? True senior. He's about 23. Quincy Riley. I think I'm gonna go Kobe King. Let's get King here. All right. And then we're going to roll out through the back end of this draft. This is where we start to look for running back 2, tight end 2. right, so 216. Ugh. I wonder if Ricky's here. Ricky's not. We'll go LaQuint Allen. Who is the best players available? If we're gonna draft Shedeur, let's get Wester. Let's get one of his Colorado guys in there. Oh, Ty Robinson was available? Nah, I thought I would have took Ty Robinson there for sure. All right, I see. That's what I get for being lazy in the 7th round. That's what I get. I'm gonna take Rock Taylor. All right. So this is the draft for this time. A little bit different here, right? You get Abdul Carter at number 2. You get Shedeur Sanders. You trade up from 33 to 26. You land him for an additional price of a 4th round pick. Mason Taylor, Lathan Ransom. And you trade Greg Newsome to get back into the 4th round here with those picks. You get Kobe Bryant and Trevor Etienne. You also get Kobe King. Then you take back here another running back, LaQuint Allen, good receiving back. LeJounte Webster, who is a fun, gadgety type wide receiver. Carson Vincent probably would have took Ty Robinson here, then Carson Vincent if I was not being lazy on the board. But I got caught being lazy on the board, so I took Carson Vincent here, Rock Taylor. And keep in mind that pick 94, instead of Lathan Ransom, would probably be Andrew Makuba, but the same principle applies. We go safety in the 3rd round. So that is this mock draft scenario. Y'all let me know what you think about this scenario down in the comment section down below. Have a great day. Have an even better night. Peace.